Hello everyone, it's Friday and you're watching Within the Frame. I'm Kim Bo-kyung. In just a few days, BIA member nations are going to cast a vote to decide who will host the 2030 World Expo. The Korean government and private sector have jointly been making all-out efforts to support Busan's bid, and diplomats are no exception. One top diplomat, along with the embassy workers in Brussels, has been promoting Busan's expo bid by riding a bicycle. What does the diplomat think about the reasons why Busan is the right candidate for the expo? And what would it mean for South Korea if it gets to host it? For this, we invited a very special guest, the very diplomat who promoted the bid by riding a bicycle. South Korean ambassador to the Kingdom of Belgium, the European Union, and permanent mission to the NATO, Jeonghyun. Welcome, Ambassador.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. Now, Ambassador, let's first talk about the role of the ambassador. You're the ambassador of the Embassy of the Republic of Korea to the Kingdom of Belgium, the European Union, and the permanent mission to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Could you briefly tell us the role undertaken by the embassy?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to express my sincere thanks for inviting me to your prestigious program today. It is my great pleasure and honor to meet with you and Arirang TV viewers. Let me briefly tell you about our embassy. Our embassy is located in Brussels, the capital of Belgium. We are covering the European Union, NATO, and bilaterally Belgium and Luxembourg. These four partners covered by us are very vital for our national interest. First, the European Union, one of the most important regional organizations, is Korea's largest foreign investor and also the third largest trading partner. This year marks the 60th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. We also have maintained a strategic partnership with the European Union. And recently, as the global security is becoming more and more interconnected, the NATO has emerged as an important partner for us. So we opened the permanent mission to the NATO last year. Belgium and Luxembourg are small and medium-sized countries in Europe. However, considering their crucial roles in the areas of finance and advanced technologies, our relations are getting more and more important. Actually, I came here about 5 months ago. During the time, I have presented my president's credentials to the King of Belgium and Grand Duke of Luxembourg, as well as the heads of the European Union and the NATO. I could feel their high expectations and strong interest in strengthening cooperation with Korea.
I see. You sure have taken many responsibilities, Ambassador. Now, as the Korean ambassador to the European Union, I heard you and other diplomats representing the Republic of Korea got together to promote Busan's expo bid and did some cycling. Could you tell us what this was about and why was bike riding chosen?
Yes, while campaigning for the bid for 2030 Busan World Expo, I have been thinking of how we can better promote the campaign to the people living here in Brussels. Belgium is called the paradise bike and cycling. Bikes are very popular transportation in Belgium. You can see easily people commuting by bikes in the morning. They are producing one of the best bikes, and also there are many famous cycling paths through water and wood here. And at the same time, a bike could be a proper means to show the vision of Busan World Expo, tackling the climate change and highlighting its commitment to environmental sustainability. In this context, one of my colleagues suggested the brilliant idea of riding bikes. Therefore, my colleagues and I rode a bike in about 20 kilometers through the center of Brussels, touring landmark places of Belgium and European Union, and distributing leaflets to the citizens. For most of us, climbing uphill was quite challenging, but it was a great opportunity to connect with Europeans and to share our enthusiasm for Busan's hosting of the World Expo in 2030. Actually, some Europeans we met were impressed by our efforts to promote our expo through riding bikes. Some said they were already aware of our efforts to host the Busan World Expo and expressed their support.
All right, well, very impressive. It was such a wonderful idea indeed. Now, Ambassador, many say it must have had a great promotional effect on Busan's bid for the 2030 Expo, in that Brussels is known as the heart of Europe as well as the de facto capital of the European Union. But for those who might not be familiar with this, why is it the heart of Europe, and to what extent do you expect the event to have had an impact on Busan's bid?
You're right. Then, all in all, Brussels is the capital of the European Union. The EU has 27 member states. The EU's three main institutions are located here in Brussels. Brussels is not only the heart of the European Union, but also a key hub for international diplomacy, since the NATO headquarters and other international organizations are located also here in Brussels. At the same time, in terms of 2030 Expo, Brussels is important because there are resident representatives from 9 countries to the BIE. In this regard, I believe that the bike riding event had a positive impact on Busan's bid for the Expo. This effectively demonstrated Busan's aspiration to host the World Expo to not only Belgians, but also Europeans and the 9 BI representatives.
I see. Well, given that Brussels serves as the administrative center of the European Union, it must have had a lot of promotional effect indeed. Now, Ambassador, not just our diplomats, but conglomerates such as LG Group are actively making efforts to promote Busan's bid for the Expo by having advertisements on buses and promotional videos on large LED billboards at major landmarks. Were you able to see many of them?
Indeed, I have seen the efforts that Busan City and the Korean companies are putting into place to promote Busan's bid for the 2030 World Expo. Korean companies in Brussels are also making efforts to promote 2030 World Expo. If you visit Brussels, you can easily find the big banner on main spots. As part of similar efforts, our embassy is putting the 2030 Busan World Expo logo on the trams in Brussels because the trams are one of the popular public transportations here. Also, at our National Day reception last September this year, our embassy and the Korean companies together promote the Busan World Expo by using banners and promotional videos. I'm convinced that these concerted efforts will contribute to raising the awareness and creating positive atmosphere.
Right. Well, I wish I were there to actually see those banners and promotional videos, Ambassador. Well, up till now, we have been talking about promotional efforts. Now I'd like to ask what our ambassador's view is on the reason why Busan City is the right candidate for the 2030 Expo. Could you give the main reason compared to other cities?
Yes, the World Expo provides a valuable platform for sharing visions for the future and exploring solutions to the global challenges at hand. The Expo is also a festival to enjoy the industrial and technological advancements made thus far and experience diverse cultures. The year 2030 also is the target year for UN SDGs, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It means the World Expo 2030 will take place at an important juncture in seeking effective ways to address global challenges such as climate changes and growing inequalities. In this context, Busan is the perfect candidate for the World Expo, considering its theme transforming our world, navigating toward a better future. Moreover, my President Yoon emphasized lots of his remarks, including the keynote speech in UN General Assembly in September this year. Korea has achieved democracy and economic development in a short period of time, all the while upholding the rule-based order and universal values such as human rights and freedom. This experience has put us in a perfect position to act as a bridge between developing and developed countries. And Korea also has the necessary experience and capacity present solutions to global challenges such as climate change and pandemic and digital divide. Korea is able to play a pivotal role in mobilizing international response to such challenges by sharing its development experience and technology know-how. Korea has the capacity and the will to contribute to solve these global challenges, and hosting the World Expo 2030 definitely is one of the top priority for the Korean government.
I see. Well, I cannot agree more that Busan City can show what transformation is, given that South Korea was once a war-torn country and now it has become one of the largest economies. Well, Ambassador, the popularity of K-content, K-pop, K-movies, and K-food is being witnessed globally as well. And I assume Europe is not an exception. How is Korean culture being received on the European continent, and is such cultural strength in any way helping Busan's bid?
I couldn't agree more in that sense. And right, the Europe is no exception of Hallyu, a Korean way. K-pop, K-cinema, K-drama, and K-food are so popular here in Europe. Whenever I've asked what's the best part of being Korean ambassador, I answered that you can easily break the ice with just two words: Parasite and Squid Game. In the past, the economics and security used to be the most important issues in diplomatic society, but nowadays, the culture really matters. The culture achievement of Korean way had long-lasting repercussion for the state of relations as an instrument of soft power for Korea. I'm convinced that the rising global influence of Korean culture acts positively for Busan's bid for hosting the 2030 World Expo. One thing, recently on the 16th November, our cultural center held the media facade event in one of the famous landmark of Brussels, Parc du Cinquantenaire, wishing for winning the World Expo bid, as well as the celebrating 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Korea and the European Union. The renowned soprano Jo Soo-mi delivered a remarkable performance at the opening ceremony. Hundreds of audiences were gathering to watching the show despite the cold weather.
All right, I see. Well, it's quite exciting to hear that South Korea's soft power has become one of its major strengths. Now, Ambassador, as a diplomat representing the Republic of Korea, it would obviously mean a lot if Busan does win the Expo bid. If it does, what would it mean in terms of elevating the country's global status?
Yes, I believe it would be a momentous achievement if Busan were to win the Expo bid. Hosting the World Expo would bring immense benefits to Korea in terms of our global status, beyond achieving economic development. As you know, the Expo alone, with the Olympics and the World Cup, are known as the world's three mega events. To date, only 6 countries have hosted all 3 of the mega events. If Korea were to host it, it would become the 7th country in the world to host the all 3 mega events. Hosting the Busan Expo would lay the foundation of Korea's emergence as one of the world's top 7 nations. Also, as our president mentioned in his Expo presentation, we want to open this Expo to all nations, including developing countries. Thanks to the help of the international community, our country achieved economic development. Korea wishes to give back to the international community what we received thus far. This is in line with our pursuing vision of a global pivotal state, GPS.
All right. Well, one last question on Busan Expo bid, Ambassador. We are nearing the end of the competition. What is the embassy doing to boost Busan's chances to win the bid in the last few days? And what final efforts do you believe should be put in place?
Yes, our people and Korean business community and my government as well. As one team, we've been doing our best so far. The election is just around the corner. It is just less than a week left. But it is very important and valuable days for our last-minute spurt. So we will continue to stay focused and make utmost efforts until the very end for the successful bid of 2030 Busan World Expo. Our embassy will also continue to work hard to reach out and gain support from European countries and 9 BI representatives here in Brussels to the last minute. Even right after this interview, I will go to Strasbourg. This week, the European Parliament will have a session in Strasbourg. The European Parliament consists of 705 members from 27 member states. During this visit, I will meet many members of the European Parliament and ask for their valuable support for the bid.
Well, thank you for your efforts, Ambassador. Now, since you are the ambassador to the European Union, I'd like to briefly ask about the relationship between the EU and the Republic of Korea before I let you go. Now, it celebrates the 60th anniversary of their diplomatic relations this year. What kind of partnership are we seeing?
Yes, the European Union is the world's largest trading bloc, and it has played a leading role as a global rule setter in various domains, especially including trade and environment. You rightly mentioned this year marks the 60th anniversary of our relationship. If we look back, we made a remarkable achievement in areas of political, economic, and global affairs. Over the last 60 years, Korea-EU economic ties grew stronger. The European Union has become the third largest trading partner and the largest foreign investor to Korea. Korea and the European Union upgraded our relationship to a strategic partnership in 2011. Based on the shared value like freedom, democracy, human rights, and rule of law, we have worked closely to reinforce rule-based order and address global challenges. This year opens a new chapter in our relationship. We had the Korea-EU summit in May in Seoul. At the summit, the leaders laid out the vision for our future partnership. They agreed to expand the scope and depth of our cooperation, including in new areas such as green, health, and digital. I strongly believe that the summit laid the groundwork for further strengthening our strategic partnership. Based on our agreement, Korea and the European Union will continue to work together.
All right. Well, I can already see that the Republic of Korea and the European Union are already enjoying strong ties. But Ambassador, in what ways do you believe such a strategic partnership between the Republic of Korea and the EU could be boosted?
Yes. Today, we are living in the area of uncertainty and turbulence. We are facing many global challenges like the war in Ukraine and the unstable situation in the Middle East, and supply chains, and the climate changes and digital transformation. As our president emphasized in his UN General Assembly speech, Korea will play a responsible role in addressing these challenges. We will promote freedom, peace, and prosperity in the international community under the vision of a global pivotal state. The European Union is leading the rule-based global order, and this is the foundation of Korea-EU partnership. Based on our shared values like freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law, we will further enhance our strategic partnership. Korea and the EU will deepen and expand our partnership, particularly in the future-oriented areas such as green, health, and digital.
All right, I see. Well, thank you, Ambassador, for your efforts to boost the relationship between ROK and the EU. And for Busan City, let's have our fingers crossed for it to win the bid. Well,
thank you.
Thank you. Well, these are all the questions we have ready for this edition. Thank you, Ambassador, for your time and insights. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all for Within the Frame tonight. We'll be next Monday with more in-depth stories. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the weekend and goodbye.